we've overcome the. I was thinking the green-eyed lady, lovely lady. I sang that. Green-eyed lady, lovely lady. Slipping slowly in my underwear. What'd you say? I said nothing. Actually, hung out with the guy who actually played this on the Steppenwolf song. Never told me how to play it, obviously. Green-eyed. He was obviously talking about a redhead, because, you know. I mean, didn't the hippies have fun back in the day? They had all these new toys, right? I mean, you could be stoned as fuck. It's like, oh yeah, green-eyed lady, yeah, green-eyed lady, green-eyed lady, lovely lady. Doctorrandomercam. What the hell? I hope the vocal sounds better. Go ahead. Yeah. Maybe.
Right. In general.
Here we go.
Because the world's going by a bit slower now because I'm drunk. Go on. Tell us the truth of what was really going on.
I've even been accused of being woke now, which is very funny to me. So what changed?
You took down the anti-woke video.
Are you woke? Bald-head man thinks he's crazy. Maybe it's not because... Wait. Down. Yeah, down. That's so terrible.
And now you're telling us, quote, why I stopped being anti-woke, end quote.
See, a lot of people disliked SJWs for the same reason that I disliked religion, because we generalized the people in those groups based on the more extreme ones who seemed very obsessive, very hypocritical, lacked self-awareness, and were easily offended.
Probably do it
at some point. See, I never had a problem with lefties, just the extremists. We call them woke. Just like I never had a problem with the religious people, just the extremists. We call them Muslims. You call them Christians. We are not the same.
And nobody likes walking on eggshells. Nobody likes their language being policed, like blasphemy.
Is that better? Does it sound better?
Or to be lectured like sermons, or to be accused of certain things just on the basis of immutable.
Godzilla versus Cthulhu. Cybertoxin is here. Hello. Inner Circle, Arvero, Mystery Man. The whole gang is here. Green-eyed lady. Lovely lady. She's a devil woman. Doctorrandomercam. Good stuff. Love this guy.
Characteristics.
I mean, he looks like a... he looks Sam. Yeah, how do you say it? Slippy slide.
Born into sin.
Yes, there's this temptation to compare the woke with the religious, almost as though that represents the left and the right. But it's really not the case. Religion spans across all the political spectrum in all kinds of ways, whereas the entity we call woke is just a big wet splodge on the left of it. Yeah. Like God left his coffee cup after wiping his ass with his left hand. Religion has its forms of extremism, but religion itself is not.
Actually, I was in a band. We did a song called Coffee Cup in Austin, Texas, 2014. It was great. I'll see if I can play that one of these days. It's on my other hard drive. He said hard, dude. He said really hard.
Extremist. But wokeism, by definition, is extremism. Oikophobic extremism. Like, I'm no fan of organized religion, but I'm able to have spirited debate.
Sir, does anyone know what oikophobia is? Yeah. Oikophobia. Well, we know phobia is an irrational fear, don't we? What does oiko mean? Anyone want to look it up? I bet someone will. And tell us in the chat, what does oiko, O-I-K-O mean? Is it the fear of the known? Is it the fear of the home? Is it the fear of people you're familiar with? Perhaps. Oikophobia, an irrational fear of familiar things.
With its adherents, polite, respectful spiritual debates. Certainly not always, but sometimes. I have never, despite all my efforts on this channel, been able to
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Conduct such an honest conversation with a wokeoid. But maybe that's because I prescriptively sort of prescribe woke as extremism. Yeah, all right, good point, accurate. So maybe we should just do away with the euphemisms, yeah? I can't compromise with extremists because they're extremists. Because of their extremeness. It's just too radical for me. To the max.
Like being a man or being white or straight, etc. To anti-SJWs, that seems to be ironically racist and sexist.
Well, go on, sir.
That fed into my
you have a nice beard. It's sexy.
Belief that they were hypocritical and lacked self-awareness.
Well, I was going to say, it's not irony, it's hypocrisy, and it's not hypocrisy, it's hierarchy. Women are better than men. Non-white people are better than white people, and because we believe that, we're better than you. And it's not just a lack of self-awareness; it's straight up deception. They know they're lying, but they're allowed to lie to you because they are above you. And
for me, it is the irrational fear of familiar things, like country, like family. It originally comes from Greek, meaning home. Isn't that interesting? I like it. Go ahead.
The hierarchy.
Oh, I keep hitting the button.
They just don't call it lying when they do it. Call it fortification or fucking everything. So they.
Whom do you think is oikophobic? Anyone? Who is the oikophobes among us? Amongst us. Is that the proper Anglaise? Who fears normal? Who fears agreed upon? Anyone? Do we understand what's going on here? Who thinks they're against normality? I think we might know.
They lie all the time, just because they can. They will say black is white just for a goof. They will say a man is a woman, and they will force you just to humiliate you.
I know. Yeah. So there are some people in our countries. like an international coalition here, a bunch of Nazis, right? Men are men, women are women. That's the norm. That's nature. Because men have things and women have things. We all have beautiful things to contribute to the world. And yet, who do you think, anyone, opposes that idea? Who do you believe is the whatever, the phobics? Who are those people? Can you guess?
The only reason anyone thinks this is okay is because they've never known anything else. They have lived with this rot for their whole lives, so they think it's normal.
Indoctrinated. Oikophobia. Who is afraid of themselves? Let's think about that. I want to go down the rabbit hole here. Who hates themselves? Who are these people? Do they have a problem in their head? They do not like existing because they're the thing that they saved in. Yep.
This is a problem, D. Do you see? Before we get into this ensuing section, let us remind ourselves of what we're talking about without the silly euphemisms like.
Excuse me, Dr. Randomercam. Yeah, Radical Rafters here. Welcome, Merry Christmas, and God bless. And now we get back to the show.
There are millions of raging oikophobes all over the country. Mm-hmm. They are actively hostile against borders of any kind, really, and of course,
and mostly against men's
rights. They want these things abolished, and they are well on their way to getting it. They've long slow marched their way through the institutions, and now they run the schools, and they run the media, they run the legal system, and they run the government. They have filled at least 4 generations of heads with this dogmatic notion. This to their very core, that they have found the bad guys this time.
And yet they are in positions of power, aren't they? Still not enough. Do you understand what's going on? Do you get it? Here's the organ. They found their way into positions of power, and it's still not enough. Well.
The exact demographic of humans on whom everyone can blame all their problems. And it's straight, cisgendered, North European males. And they...
In other words, white.
Whoa!
But it's not just white men. It's every man. Well, you think you're from Africa, right? You're black dude. You're not a white dude, so this doesn't affect you. Get out of the fucking way. Everyone, no matter what man, color you are, men are the evil toxic. And the toxic must be eliminated. And they're not saying anything you think they're not saying. They say eliminated because they fucking mean it. They're not fucking around. Go ahead.
It will scorch the earth to get rid of us while they profess to be saving it from us. That's the long and the short of it. There is a bloody great Leviathan actively destroying our civilization. Yeah, a titanic goddamn lizard just tearing through the infrastructure.
Yeah, but it's all pretty, and it's because the women are oppressed. And so men should shove away and give it to the women.
Deliberately.
You mean the communist women? I mean, look at we have Governor Kristi Noem from South Dakota being nominated for something. Oh, the fucking feminists are up in arms about that. Now, explain to me exactly why that would be. Because they want more women in positions of power. You mean they only want certain women in positions of power? Oh, there's a fucking shock, isn't
it? Maliciously. Now, some people...
Tulsi Gabbard in a big old position of power. They're losing their fucking shit. But I thought they wanted girls in positions of power. But only the ones they agree with.
Don't like this. We don't like that this is happening, and we would like it to unhappen. We look up every day and we see Cthulhu destroying the city.
Yeah.
And we find it concerning. We want Cthulhu
One second, please. It seems like the fembots and these girl bosses, you go girl, they only want women in positions of power that they agree with. Well, isn't that something? It's quite amazing, isn't it?
Die, or maybe just go away, just stop destroying the city, that sort of thing. Bear this in mind. Moving forward. And if you're moving backwards, bear it in mind too.
Critical analysis by SJWs anyway. And I think other people perceived that as well. So it became a game to be offensive to them, to get their attention and then laugh at them for it.
Actually, that's not how I saw it. I saw Cthulhu marching towards us over the horizon, and I called out, beware, Cthulhu. And no one listened, no one cared.
And what were they saying? You're just you're against progressive stuff. You're against our thing, and you're evil, and you're a Nazi and shit.
So I wrote jokes about it. I wrote funny songs about it, hoping maybe people would listen to those, and it did help a little. But for me, it was never about the jokes. It was about Cthulhu warning people about the Dark Lord and his encroaching reign of.
And here it comes. But some on the left think Cthulhu is a savior. And some of us don't. Yeah. I wonder who's right.
Terror.
Because the SJWs were always complaining about racism and sexism, a lot of people realized that making racist and sexist jokes was a great way to trigger them.
Everything is sexist and racist to this creature. Literally everything. So I don't know.
Excuse me. Didn't Anita Sarkeesian, remember Gamergate? Everything is racist. Everything is you just gotta know. Everything. So no matter what you say, here we go. It's gonna be great.
What you mean by racist and sexist jokes? It can mean literally any joke. Could you give us an example? Why not? You would not risk summoning Cthulhu. Well, Cthulhu is upon you, whether you would risk it or not.
People constantly made fun of how weak and thin-skinned the SJWs were. Snowflakes, they were constantly called. It turned into a cottage industry.
Excuse me. Were they not, though? But we were just imagining that. It's our imagination. Is it there, Mr. Beard?
It soon became apparent that one man alone cannot fight Cthulhu. So a few of us got together and built a cottage or two. I don't know. I'm gathering by your tone that you feel that was too far to level 1.
Excuse me, George W. Cush. You're gonna teach me some stuff. Okay, good. C sus4 sus2. Oh wait. Name those chords, then I'll pay you to teach me. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm sure you can do it. It's not
in the Civ game where we get some grass huts and some sticks. That's you think that's a tad overboard when dealing with a marauding Cthulhu? Okay, well you're entitled to your opinion. What is it you do again? Oh yeah, you're fighting a different. Fair enough.
The people funding their own opposition.
Anyone who pays taxes is funding their own opposition, especially when the government is giving all that money to Cthulhu.
The cameras turned to college campuses where there were plenty of young people who were
I'm sorry.
excited.
What? This is a Yamaha, actually. Yeah. I don't know which one it is. Here, let me look. Yamaha something. YPG 230. YPG 235. It's got the wangy thing. It's got the wanker. That's kind of fun. I like that. Got it.
About fighting back against racism and sexism.
Yeah, no, it's not passionate, excited young people we're talking about. Nor is it a bunch of overworked and underpaid nurses and teachers or any other saccharine picture of human innocence you can lazily paint. What we're dealing with is not even made of people. It's made of memes. Multiple generations of mutated oikophobic memes turning us against each other as countries and as communities and as families. So if you're going to describe that shit as a bunch of fresh-faced fucking cherubims sitting around on clouds and playing harps, then I'm going to take this moment to remind you that it is in fact Cthulhu. That's why we call it woke. Because he has risen. The sleeping one has now awoken.
Oh, smarter.
And because they were young,
your hair is blue.
Maybe
well,
they weren't
not
the best at expressing themselves, and maybe they did not realize that their own emotion and passion was the lifeblood of the comedic skits that would use them as punchlines. I have no doubt that entire mortgages have been paid off just from making fun of college kids. And so the anti-SJW movement grew into a juggernaut.
Did it? Do we have our very own Titanic monster now? It's Godzilla. It's Godzilla, isn't it? It's a different monster. Well, all right, that was quick. A second ago, we just had some cottages, but whatever. We've got a Godzilla now. I'm very glad we have a Godzilla fighting on our side against Cthulhu, because to remind you, if the slumbering one wins this fight, our civilization is gone. It's ashes. So yeah, I'm delighted to hear that we have what you call a juggernaut, because what we're fighting is not what you illustrate as a bunch of children in gingham dresses frolicking through a field of daisies. It is the great sleeper of relief.
Starting out as just purely a comedic response, trolling and mocking, but then gradually morphed into something very serious and political, an actual movement.
An actual movement? Well, like that.
A 304.
What the fuck is an actual movement?
I don't know.
The unserious, racist, and sexist jokes
251.
morphed into sincerely held beliefs and political stances.
Okay, then it was always a movement. We didn't just laugh at some jokes and then figure out the premise of the joke. The premise was there first, as is traditional and possible. Otherwise, there'd be nothing to be laughing about. Contrary to popular belief, right, we are not backwards bizarro people from the mirror dimension where effects precede causes. And you are not a bunch of naked babies with angel wings. Right? So,
there is no zero in
yes,
easy
the
theory.
movement came first. The premise came first. The premise being, look, Cthulhu.
All right, I got to go eat. This is a good video, though, if you want to listen to the rest of it. It is in the description. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for the lesson, Bush. Kush. See ya.